Your cat is at the window. They've been there for a while, still and focused, watching something outside with the particular quality of attention that cats give to things that matter to them. A bird has landed nearby, on a branch, on a ledge, on the ground within sight. And then your cat makes a sound you don't hear them make in any other context. A rapid, stuttering, chattering sound, teeth clicking, jaw quivering slightly, the whole thing happening fast and low. Sometimes it almost sounds like they're trying to talk. Sometimes it sounds like a tiny machine. Sometimes it's accompanied by a chirp or a trill that is nothing like their ordinary meow. You've heard this. If you have a cat with any view of the outdoors, you've heard this. And the question it raises is immediate and obvious. What is that? And why does it only happen at birds? The honest answer is that behavioural scientists don't fully agree. The chirping and chattering at birds is one of the most discussed and least definitively explained behaviours in feline ethology, and the explanations that get offered are more competing than conclusive. But the most interesting thing about the behaviour is not the explanation. It's what the behaviour reveals about what is happening inside your cat when they're doing it. Here is what we know. The chattering is specifically predatory in context. It happens almost exclusively when a cat is watching prey they cannot reach. Birds through glass, squirrels up a tree, insects on the other side of a screen. It does not happen when the cat is watching something they could actually reach. And it does not happen in the way a demand vocalization happens. It is not asking you for anything. It is not a social communication in the usual sense. It is something your cat does when they are in a specific state. Prey visible, prey unreachable, and can't do anything about it. The first explanation, and still the most widely held, is that the chattering is a form of frustrated arousal. The cat is in a full predatory state. The visual system has locked onto prey. The neurological machinery of the hunt has activated. The body wants to do what it is built to do, and the glass is in the way. The chattering on this reading is what happens when the motor pattern of the kill bite fires without an outlet. Some researchers believe it maps onto the specific jaw movement of the killing bite that cats use to sever a prey animal's spine. A precise, rapid bite delivered to the back of the neck. The chattering is that movement, misfiring in frustration, running the pattern in the absence of the prey that would complete it. This is why the chattering has a mechanical, involuntary quality to it. It is not something your cat is deciding to do. It is something their body is doing, pulled by the activation of a predatory sequence that cannot complete itself. The sound is the motor program running in neutral, the engine revving with nowhere to go. Your cat is reading you constantly. Your scent, your posture, your emotional state, the micro expressions your face makes when you think no one is watching. They build a detailed model of you, and most owners never realize how complete that model is. I put together a guide covering exactly that layer. The signals cats send and the signals they read from you that most people never learn to recognize. It's called What Your Cat is Hiding, and the link is in the description. If you've ever felt like your cat understands you on a level you can't fully explain, that guide is going to show you why that feeling is more accurate than you think. There is a second explanation that has gained traction in recent years, and it is more interesting than the frustration theory because it suggests the chirping is not purely involuntary. Researchers studying wild cats and their hunting behavior noticed something specific about the sounds some wild cat species make when approaching prey, particularly birds. Certain species have been documented making sounds that mimic or approximate the calls of their target prey, apparently as a luring strategy. A species of wild cat in the Amazon was recorded producing sounds that resembled the calls of the pied tamarin, a small primate it preys on, while hunting them. The implication is that the vocal mimicry might draw the prey closer, or at least not alarm it. The chirping domestic cat at the window in this reading is not purely frustrated. They may be attempting something, a version of the luring vocalization, directed at the bird through the glass as if the bird might respond to it and come closer. The behavior persists despite the glass because the behavior is not contingent on results. It is the activation of a strategy, independent of whether the strategy can succeed. What is remarkable about this explanation is what it implies about your cat's cognitive state when they are at the window. Not just aroused, not just frustrated, but attempting something, running a tactic, trying in the limited way available to them to affect the outcome of a hunt they cannot participate in through any normal means. The chirping is the hunt in the only form available through glass. Whether the frustration explanation or the luring explanation is closer to correct, and it may be some combination of both, varying by individual cat and context. What both explanations share is this: the chirping is evidence of a cat in a fully activated predatory state, doing what their body and instincts know to do, in the gap between what they are built for and what the situation allows. There is something in watching your cat at the window that becomes more interesting once you understand what you're seeing. That still focused posture is not boredom. Those wide eyes tracking a bird through glass are not idle curiosity. The chattering that breaks out is not random noise. What you're watching is a hunter, with every system engaged, fully present in the moment of predation, and unable to do anything about it except make that small, involuntary, unmistakable sound. The gap between what they are and what the window allows is where the chirping lives. It is the sound of instinct meeting obstacle, the sound of a creature designed for a specific action, doing the only part of that action it can. If your cat does this, the window chirping, the chattering, the particular sound that only birds produce, tell me about it in the comments. What do they do? Do they chirp or chatter or both? Does the bird ever seem to respond? I want to hear the specific moments because I think what people describe when they talk about their cat at the window says something about what it is to live with a creature that is simultaneously very domestic and not domestic at all, and that deserves to be said out loud. The context in which the chirping doesn't happen is as revealing as the context in which it does. A cat who hears a bird but cannot see it does not typically chatter. A cat who sees a bird at a distance, too great to be relevant to hunting, does not typically chatter. A cat who watches you move across a room, a much larger and theoretically more threatening entity than a bird, does not chatter at you, even though you are prey-sized in the relative terms of the original feline evolutionary context. The chirping is specifically triggered by the visual lock on reachable seeming, but actually unreachable prey. It requires the full predatory activation plus the specific frustration of the barrier. This specificity tells us something about how precisely the behavior is tuned. It is not a general arousal sound. It is a very specific output of a very specific internal state, produced in a very specific set of circumstances. Your cat is not making that sound when they're excited generally, or when they see something interesting generally. They are making it when the predatory system is fully engaged and the prey is right there and they cannot get to it. The involuntary quality of it is also worth noting. Many cat owners describe their cat apparently startling themselves with the chattering, making the sound and then looking slightly surprised, or catching themselves and going quiet. This is consistent with the motor program firing without conscious initiation. The cat did not decide to chatter. The chatter happened to the cat. The jaw moved, the sound came out, the predatory sequence tried to run. There is something honest about it. Most of what cats communicate is deliberate. The meow directed at you, the slow blink, the headbutt, the bringing of prey. The chatter is different. It is the sound of a system that bypassed deliberation entirely and ran on its own. It is, in this sense, one of the most unguarded things your cat does. A window into what is happening inside them that they did not choose to open. The bird outside has no idea. The cat at the window has every idea, the full predatory awareness, the complete engagement of every hunting instinct, and can do nothing with it except make that small mechanical sound that is the only outlet the situation allows. What your cat is communicating when they chatter at a bird is not a message. It is a state, the state of being fully, completely, involuntarily present in the thing they were built to do, and unable to do it. The glass is the world saying no. The chatter is the cat's body saying yes anyway, in the only way left to it. Next time you hear that sound, look at your cat for a moment before you say anything. What you are seeing is not a quirk. It is the hunt, in the only form available. It is what a predator looks like, when everything is working and nothing can happen. The sound is the gap between those two things. That gap, and what your cat does in it, says something about what these animals are that a lot of calmer moments don't. There is one more layer to this behaviour that tends to land differently once people hear it. The chirping is most intense and most sustained in cats who have very little other outlet for their predatory drive. Indoor cats who never hunt, who never catch anything, who live their entire lives on the other side of glass. These cats tend to chatter more consistently and more expressively than cats who have outdoor access and can actually complete the predatory sequence sometimes. The frustration is proportional to the unrelievedness of it. This is not a criticism of keeping cats indoors. Indoor cats live longer, safer lives, and the benefits of that are real. But it means that the window is, for many indoor cats, the primary place where the predatory drive gets any expression at all. The chirping at the window is not just a response to this specific bird on this specific afternoon. It is the accumulated activation of a system that almost never gets to do what it was built for, finally finding a target. Understanding this changes what the window means in your cat's day. It is not background entertainment. It is, for a cat with limited predatory outlet, one of the most significant experiences available to them, the closest they get to the thing their nervous system was designed around. The bird through the glass is real prey, close enough for the system to fully activate, unreachable enough that nothing can be done. Some cats can spend hours at a window, the same bird or different birds or squirrels or insects, whatever is available. The sustained engagement with it is not monotony. It is the cat doing, in the only way available, the thing they are most fundamentally built to do. The chirping is what that looks like from the outside.